So you guys seen this car here before? If you're following the channel, you've seen me doing a crank hub on this car. It's just back with the broken clutch. You guys probably seen my garage as well. What's going on, guys? Doug Machado here. You guys remember this thing from the last videos? Yeah, it's back again. So the last time the car was here, it was here for a crank hub. We got the crank hub done, and I told him, listen, you're golden now, you're good. This is not gonna break again. So he went out, hammered the car, used the car. Unfortunately, the clutch went out. The car has 60,000 miles, and right now we're gonna be getting the clutch done. It's a twin disc clutch. I'll show you guys how to do the clutch, especially if you don't have the alignment tool. This is very easy to do without the alignment tool. I will be showing you guys the process of how you do it. I do have the alignment tool, but I'm gonna be showing you guys how to do it if you don't have it. These cars are very, I would say, easy if you have some mechanical knowledge on how to work on cars, dropping the transmission and stuff like that. You'll be able, if you know a little bit of mechanic, if you're good with your hands working on cars, you'll be able to get this clutch done, no problem. And I'll make sure to point out every little thing that you need to do to replace the clutch on this thing. So enough of talking, let's get to replacing the clutch on this thing. Alright guys, so I want to touch here quick tips that I do. First of all, I use a block of wood in the front of the motor and I jack it up just a little bit just so I can tilt the engine back so I can reach the top transmission bolts. Okay, they're very hard to get to. You have to do that. You have to tilt the motor a little bit backwards so you're able to reach those top ones. Besides that, I don't remove the drive shaft all the way. I just take it out of the transmission. I take the front heat shield out and I don't touch anything back there. Okay, it's just you saving yourself some time here by not removing any of this back here. And this car is a little bit easier than a regular one because he has a full exhaust and he actually has clamps here, so I don't have to drop the full exhaust, only the middle section, which is from the downpipes that connects to the cat back. Another quick tip here, I zip tie the drive shaft up. As far as it goes, I take the shifter out of the way to the side as much as I can and hold the drive shaft up there just so it's not in the way when I'm taking the transmission out or going back in. As you guys saw me on the time lapse, I use my knees to pull it out and I drop it right down. I find way easier like that because I have full control of the transmission. I have full control of what I'm doing, where I'm directioning it, and what I need to do, and I have a feel for it too. Like my body connected to it, my knees and hands, I have a feel of where the transmission has to go to connect back in or to be pulled out without forcing anything. This manual transmissions are really not that heavy. Like I say, I'm already used to doing this on the floor here. Right now, my conditions don't allow me to have a place just yet. So I'm doing this out of my garage. Hopefully, eventually, I'll have my place with a lift that's gonna make my life easier. But like I say, this does not bother me, does not stop me from doing what I'm doing. It's just would be a little easier with the lift, but it's not hard for me at all doing this on the floor. Again, so one more thing before we finish here. So before you guys put the transmission back up, as you can see, there's a sound insulation here on the body, and there's one in the transmission tunnel and one by the firewall, which is two pieces. So where these two pieces connect together from factory, they're not supposed to be folded like that, right? They are flat. So this is another thing that's gonna bother you, especially up there when you're putting the transmission bolts back up. So quick tip here is to just cut that little tab that's folding off, especially up there. So you want to trim that down with a razor blade, trim that down just so you reach and you able to see where you're going with the transmission bolts back in, and the extension is not hitting anything up there. I'm gonna be cleaning the flywheel up. There's some burn marks a little bit, but we're not going to be replacing the flywheel, so I'm just gonna sand that down so it's not glazed. You want it to be grippy, you don't want it to be smooth and mirror finished, so you just want it to be a little bit of grip on it. So here's the clutch. I'm gonna be pulling this pan out. Oh, that's another thing that I do. I like putting a pan down here just so the dust and all the crap is not, you know, falling on the floor and all over the place. But yeah, the clutch was really burned out. As you guys can see here on the sides, really bad. It wasn't gripping at all. And another thing that helps this clutch is to go bad a lot on these cars is that the bell housing is closed. There's no holes in it like other cars that they do have like some holes and places that the air could go through. So this thing is just basically cooking in there like a pressure pot, and the heat stays in all the time. So this is one upgrade that I'm gonna be doing on my car. I'm gonna drill, again, it's not a road car, it's a race car, so I'm gonna be drilling holes on the sides or maybe on the panels, because the E46 M3 I have the shield behind the flywheel, so I'll be able to make a hole in it and do like a tube to it, put a fan just so I can circulate the air inside the bell housing and cool down the clutch by air. All right, so I'm gonna show you guys what I do to put the clutch in and guide it. Really easy. Without using the tool. I've always done it this way, always worked for me, never had a problem. So I'm gonna share this with you guys today. All right guys, so here I'm gonna show you guys how to align the clutch without the alignment tool. So this is a perfect opportunity. I do have the tool, but this is a perfect opportunity for me to show those who don't have the tool available. You're gonna get an extension. Sometimes the extension does fit perfectly in the pilot bearing, in the flywheel. Sometimes it doesn't, so you have to match a socket. I already matched this socket. As you guys can see, there is grease on it, so this socket matches perfectly and there is no play. You gotta make sure that there is no play, right? So then this is gonna go in the center when you're mounting the clutch like so. And to make up for that difference, you're going to get tape and you're going to roll that tape on your extension or whatever else that you're using to make up for that difference, and fill the hole, right? Fill the gap here on the disc with no play. So where you see that play right now, it's gonna be filled with tape. You just gotta roll the tape on the extension and it's gonna fill that gap. Once it fills that gap, it's gonna be centered. Your socket's gonna go in the pilot bearing and your extension is gonna be on the outside of the clutch as you bolt the clutch on, and you just gotta make sure it's all the way in the pilot bearing and you align it. That's how you could do if you don't have the tool. But the easiest way of doing is with the tool. Sometimes if you get some aftermarket kits, they do come with the tool, but this particular one, there's no companies that make it aftermarket yet. OEM, BMW specs, and so this one doesn't come with the tool because I bought it from the dealer. The dealer doesn't supply the tool, you have to buy it separately. So that being said, this is how you could do it. All right, let's install this thing. I can almost feel you walking in the distance, but I know that it's not reality. Alright guys, so here's a little bit better for you guys to see. I pulled the pan out of the car from underneath. The clutch is now done. I just have to clean up the tools, get the tools away. As you guys can see, there's not a lot of mess there. I try to keep my work as clean as possible. I'm very clean when I'm working. I'm very picky. All the dirt is in here. So, and this is a new car too, so it's not like it's filthy underneath. So I want to talk about the self-adjusting clutch. As you guys can see here, this clutch adjusts itself. That's what this springs are for. He adjusts how high the pedal is inside the car. So as the clutch wears out, the self-adjusts so the pedal stays in the same spot and you don't feel any difference on the pedal. The spring's supposed to be in the middle. I'm gonna put the image of the new one next to this to compare. So The new one, as you guys can see, is supposed to be in the middle, and with the time, as it wears out, it goes pushing it out, pushing it out, pushing it out to adjust until the clutch wears out. So this is worn out. Show you guys here a little bit up closer. Chunks of the disc started coming apart. This is because of the heat. It heats up so much. You can see there's holes in the disc. It's very worn here on the corner. Very, very worn. As you guys can see, this thing has been through a lot of heat, and the heat helps to lose the pressure on the springs on the plate as well. So this is it for today, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, tuning in, and I catch you guys on the next one.